Hey everyone, I'm Brittany ProVenture from the Customer Service Department at ACR Technology. I'm here with Tracy.
Hi.
He's in the engineering department. We actually have here, we were able to get our hands on a T1X2. It's pretty rare that we can because they're selling like hotcakes.
Shipping them out faster than we can make them. So.
Right, so we kind of snuck this one out of the warehouse so that we can take a video for you guys. So we're going to go through some specifications. Tracy's going to go ahead and give you some technical aspects of it and what to expect, give you a few things on what to do when you receive it and how to take care of it in the long run. So it's our T1X2, like I said. We ship this FedEx ground unless you request a UPS shipping. DHL, we ship that for out-of-country orders. And then when we ship this is 38 inches by 31 by 14, and it weighs 122 pounds. So
yeah, good point. And they're really rough when they ship these things. They bounce them around, so these boxes are protected really nicely. So
yeah, you'll see that.
Yeah, you'll see it inside. So go ahead.
Ready to start unboxing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
So let's pull this cover off. It's a clamshell type box. Got this. Okay, what do we got here?
All right. So first things first, we have the Tug charger, and there's two parts to it. So you'll want to, plug and play here, but always make sure that it's really snug because that's where you're getting your voltage. You have your spare parts kit. This is going to be really handy if you ever need to repair a track or something like that, if you ever ran over something really sharp. You have a few tracks, you have pins, you have
the little clip.
Yeah, rotor clips, you have fuses there, and then this right here is just for your rotor clips. This will help you put in those little hard to push in black things. So that's what that brass tool is there. Keep that around, you might need it.
Yep.
And then with our T1X2s, this is the only Tug that comes standard with a 1/2 inch tire height spacer plate. You'll probably see this in our Cirrus video. We normally use this with those aircraft that have a little bit lower than normal fairing on them, or wheel pant as you would call them. So that's where you use this. You won't need it on a tail wheel, but we like to send this because this is the only Tug here that we use to accommodate those aircraft with wheel fairing on them. So it's really critical to have. And then Tracy will go ahead and explain what this guy is.
Okay, this is a Cradle Extender. So what this does is it bolts onto the top of the back of the cradle, and it gives you like this much more height on the cradle. So if you're going down a steep hill and you've got the the tires in there, and if there's any question at all whether or not it's going to plop out of the cradle, this will ensure that it won't plop out. Very few people use these, but anyway, you got it. That's what it's for. When you see it in the box, that you'll know what it's all about. And everything we've just gone over is in the instructions as well, the manual. So Brittany will show a little bit more about the manual right here.
Right, so this will be the manual. It's going to have an important warning tag here. We do recommend that you just read through everything. This is going to tell you to remove the shipping bracket. We'll show you what that is all about when we pull the Tug out. Behind that, you'll see that there will be another warning sign here. You'll only see this with the T1X2 because the T1X2 is the only Tug that has the adjustable cradle, which will also show you how it works. And then behind that, you'll have your invoice, your packing list, and your receipt. But this is the manual. This is a hard copy. If you want to get a head start on it, you can go ahead and look at the PDF version on our website. Just go ahead and select the Tug that you're purchasing and then hit download PDF manual. You want to read through this. You're going to probably have questions, and if you don't read it, we'll more than likely have you calling the office and asking the question instead. So it's really handy to keep around with you.
Okay.
And the last thing you'll find in this box is the remote control, which is probably one of the most important things in here. Let's see.
Besides the Tug.
Yeah, besides the Tug.
Well, I guess the Tug isn't going to do you any good if you don't have a remote
But before
control.
that, let me just go ahead and give you a little idea on how well the packaging is here. This is some great foam. We recommend that you save the box if you can. Once you receive the tug, put it up in your rafters or somewhere, try to keep it safe.
Yeah,
you might
people trying to do upgrades, you know, and they want to send this tug back and get upgrade to the next tug, and if they can ship it in the same box, it's going to be a lot better than if they don't.
Or
right?
maybe if you've had it for 10 years or something and you want us to fix it up for you, then you'll want to definitely keep it in this box. You can see this box is designed for the remote, for the accessories, for the lights here. It's just overall designed on the shape of the tug, and it keeps it very well packaged.
There's a lot of foam all the way around everything.
If it's not, to be honest, we've seen the freight companies throw them around and damage them, and that's why we've...
They actually roll them.
Yeah. We've seen them damage them quite a bit, and when people send them back, they send them back in suitcases, they send them back in small boxes, or, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So we don't want your tug to come back. We don't want you to send it back with more damages than you sent it to us. So that's why we just kind of highly recommend you to keep it around if you can.
Good point.
Yeah. So you'll find in this box here is the remote control. And so here's the remote. There's a couple things that you want to take off here. More foam and protection. So you'll have your on and off switch. You'll have your latch unrelease button. You'll have your lights button. You'll have your speeds here. You have 3 speeds. They're low, medium, and high. And then you have your joystick. This right here is for the lanyard that we provide, which you might want to wear. We do have people drop these, believe it or not, and they're pretty heavy. So, and they're made out of great material, right, Tracy?
Right, yeah. They're actually machined out of solid aluminum. So it's an aluminum billet machine case. The inside of the remote is completely made for us. It's got a Hall effect joystick on it, which means it's a not mechanical, it's optical. Not exactly optical, but it is, there's no moving parts in there. And what that means is it's not going to wear out over time. So very high quality radio. Like Brittany said, you probably want to use the lanyard so you don't drop it. If you drop it, especially if you have the plane on it, you might drop it where the joystick can hit, and you know, you don't want your plane moving around without you actually holding on to it. So do use the lanyard.
Yeah, and it'll probably cost you about $500 to $600 to replace it, so they're not really cheap. Right here, you'll see that there's a little space to put the charger in. You get the charger with it. This charger and the Tug charger are smart chargers. We do recommend you leaving them plugged in when you're not using the Tug, so leave them plugged in 24/7. If you go on vacation for a few months, leave it plugged in, don't worry about it. They'll never overheat and they'll never overcharge, so you're good there.
Good. And then the little battery pack too.
A little battery pack in here. If you ever, for some reason, your batteries ever go out on you, you can put this in there, put some rechargeable AA batteries in it, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, good.
All right.
All right.
So we're gonna go ahead and pull the Tug out now and show you guys how it works. We'll also go ahead and go through the whole Tug and show you what everything is.
Good. All right, let's pull this out. Go ahead and set your end down. Okay, so hold that for a second. Now there is a shipping bracket that it comes with, right, Brittany?
Yep, this is it.
This is it, and the reason we ship it with this is to protect the back cover, because if they drop the package with the Tug in it, it will damage this part back here. So I got.
And what kind of Allen wrench? What size?
This is a 3/16 Allen wrench. So I use a T handle. It's faster, better. So you might want to do that. Now, if you want to take a look at the back of this thing, it's all CNC machine. When people lift it up like this, they're pretty amazed at what it looks like. We actually machine all this here. We're machining those out in the shop right now. And we're doing, I don't know, 40 of them right now, or 50. And there's a lot of time and effort involved in machining these. We did this to reduce the weight on the Tug. So throughout the whole Tug, you'll see stuff like this. It's just extra bit of engineering in it that kind of separates us from a lot of the other Tugs. Okay, so now we're going to set this thing down and we're going to start taking a look at it.
Alrighty, so now that we've pulled the Tug out, we're going to go ahead and give you a little idea on what everything is. So Here, you're gonna find, there's another warning label here. This is the adjustable cradle, so this will go, as Tracy will actually explain it, but right now it is in the low position. So more than likely, the reason why this is in a low position is because the owner of this tug has a fairing on it. So that's pretty much the only time we'll put it in low position. And then higher positions will be for tailwheel and for those with non-wheel fairing on them.
Right.
This right here is the shroud. This is where all the electronics are, which Tracy will go over. This right here is some styrofoam covering it. Here you'll also have your serial number to the tug, so anytime you need to call in and if you have any questions regarding it, or if you have a problem or an issue that you need to have troubleshoot by the engineers, you'll want to give us this number. You don't have to take this styrofoam off if you want to keep it protected. A lot of people don't, they just leave it on for years. Really all depends on what you want to do with it. Some people customize it to their own, they start putting stuff on top of it. But for here, we like to cover it up so we can keep it protected, and it's really shiny, so.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay. So you ready for me to talk about the cradle?
I am ready.
All right. So, like Brittany said, this thing is a adjustable cradle, and it comes with this to show what position it's in when it's shipped. So we'll just put that over there. And like she said, this is in the lowest position right now. It's easily adjusted up. It adjusts up about 2 more inches from where it's at right now. And that is done by, there's 2 screws on either side back here. And then up in the front, there's 1 screw there and 1 screw there. And you can adjust it, combinations of the front being up a little bit more or the back being up a little bit more. Just whatever combination it takes for it to fit perfectly on your particular airplane. We also have these adjusters for the tire diameter. So you can adjust for a bigger tire diameter by doing this. And it's very low right now, but if the cradle was in the full up position, it wouldn't be as low. And then again, you can take it all the way back to the lowest or the smallest tire size position, which would be basically a 5x5 tire. It'll open up to a bigger than a 6x6 tire as well. Then there's also these adjusters in here for the width of the tire. And you just have 2 pins you pull out. This slides in and out, put the pins back in for whatever size the width of the tire is that you're towing. So everything's really quick. You don't need any tools for adjusting the tire diameter or the width. You do need tools, but it's the same Allen wrench for adjusting the height. Usually once you get that set, you just kind of leave that alone. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what's under the hood here a little bit. First off, I'm going to talk about the battery. The battery is a 24-volt battery that will tow for approximately 30 minutes of actual towing time. So this is the battery here. We've got 2 AC brushless motors, and they go into 16-to-1 planetary gearboxes on either side, and then straight out direct drive to the tracks. These are a 4-inch wide track. The electronics are all on this board right here. There's a voltmeter right here, so you can check to see your voltage on the battery. These batteries at full charge would be 29.1 volts. And then we've got some fuses here, and there's a circuit breaker down here as well. So if anything happens electronically, basically what you do is just pull this board out, we send you a new one, you put it in, and you're good to go. It's all on one board. This is the servo for releasing the latch. We'll show you how that works in a minute. And let's see, that's just about it under the hood here.
Do you want to explain to them what this little hole is here?
Yeah, okay. This little hole right here is to reset the circuit breaker in case you have your plane on here and you can't open up the cover because there's a wheel fairing in the way or something. And if the circuit breaker gets blown, you basically just stick a small pin down in there and it resets the circuit breaker. Here's your on-off switch. And this is a manual release, which you probably will never really have to use for the cradle. And then around the back, I'll turn it around in a minute, is the charger port. We'll show you that in a minute. But first, we're going to take a look at the side here. And let me turn this around a little bit. When we're at shows, a lot of people ask, is the plastic on the side just for the show, or is that, you know, the way they ship? And that's actually the way they ship. They think that we have that so that they can see, you know, what it looks like inside just for the show, but no, that's the way they ship. It's just like this, straight out of the box. Okay, and the T1X2 being our most popular model, by the way, this thing, we sell 2 of these for every one of our other ones. I mean, we sell a lot of these. It's very popular. So being the most popular model, we have a lot of options for it. So Brittany is going to go over a few of them right now and explain some of them.
Yeah. So I'll start off with the the tail wheel adapter. This is for tail draggers. So this is what it looks like. It has some pull pins here. You'll want to take those out when you go to put it on the cradle here. And it also has these little screws that you'll want to, you know, screw out so that it's not blocking when you put it on here. So you'll just lay it flat on the cradle, probably more toward the back of the cradle. You'll put the push pins in, and then you'll screw these red caps so that they lock in place. And then there you go. So this cuts the slack, or cuts the space of you know, the smaller tail wheel tires from moving back and forth. And then when you have these closer together, it just gives it a little bit more support.
Yeah, I think any tire that's less than about 6 inches, you'd want to use this. If it's more than 6-inch diameter, you probably don't need that.
And it's not critical. I mean, it's really pilot preference. A lot of pilots, you know, they want to keep everything secure, and some people are going from a tail dragger to a fairing. You won't really want to leave this on there for that. You're not going to fit a 6x6 tire in this configuration, so you'll have to always just take this off. Yeah. Another accessory here that we have would be that spacer plate that we showed you earlier in the video. We just took off the styrofoam. This is what it looks like. We have 3 versions of this. So this is the smallest one we carry. It's a 1/2 inch. We have a 3/4 inch, and we also have a 1 inch. And that really all varies on the configuration of your wheel pants and what type of plane you might have. So these little push pins will just land here in these holes. You just leave it there, and gives you a little bit more height when you're towing those lower wheel fairing aircraft. Yep. A few other things that we have that will help accommodate your aircrafts are, we have constraint bars for Cirrus aircraft. We have constraint bars for DA-40 aircraft. We also have adjustable spacers. Those will be on another video though, because we kind of get a little bit more in detail on how to set it up, and we kind of give you a demonstration of what it looks like too. And then what else do we have here?
Lights.
Yeah,
this
lights
one
are
doesn't.
an additional option.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different options with this, but they're more specific per plane, really. Yeah. So, just your generic T1X2, you get the plate, you get the adjustable cradle, and it will work on probably 90% of the planes you got, you know, that are in that weight really range.
Versatile, and it does tow up to
yeah.
It does tow up to 8,000 pounds max gross takeoff weight.
Okay, so now I want to show you the radio and how it works and how easy it is to maneuver your tug around. So I'm going to first turn on the radio. Doesn't matter which order you turn it on. Then I'm going to turn on the tug, and listen when the tug starts up. It's going to do a beep, 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 beep sound. Well, it did a 1 beep, which is, you're going to get different combinations, and this one just happened to do a 1 beep. But anyway, that means that everything's ready to go when you hear that. And so the remote is set up so that you got one joystick to maneuver everything. So I can go forward and think of that as being the front. So I can go forward just by moving it a little bit. I can go very slow, move it more, and move faster. I can go backwards, I'm moving back. And then I can move from right or left. So it's very intuitive. And then this is the button for releasing the cradle. You can see the cradle is locked right now, and then this little switch or little latch right here, when I push the button, you can see that came back, and now the cradle is released and ready to pull your plane either in or out. We also have different speeds. We have the rabbit speed, and we have the turtle speed, and we have one in between, which I guess would be the Wordle speed.
Wordle.
I don't know. But anyway, 3 speeds. And when you're on slow speed, it mainly is going straight. You would use it on slow speed if you were in a really tight place. I always tell people, once you get used to it, you're probably going to be running on high speed all the time. You can go slow on high speed, like I just showed. You can go very slow on high speed. And you can go slow on slow speed as well, obviously, but I'm pushing the stick a lot farther to go the same speed. So that's how that works. I've got the on-off switch, and then the lights would be here. If we had lights, there would be another switch that looks just like this. It's just a simple toggle on and off, and the lights would be mounted on here, and they would turn on and off. I'm going to turn the tug around here real quick. And this is where the plug is for the charger, and you leave that thing plugged in 24/7. This has a lithium-ion battery, and the more, well, you want to leave it on all the time on the charger. If you don't leave it on all the time, it's going to reduce the lifetime of your battery, and these are expensive batteries, so you don't want to do that. You want to get as much life out of that battery as you can. And let's see, and then same thing with the charger on the remote. The charger port's on the side here. Leave it on the charger all the time. These batteries aren't nearly as expensive. They're actually, you get a little battery pack that Brittany showed you in the box, and you can use your Home Depot AA batteries in there, and they're not that much. So, but still, leave this on the charger as well, because if you come in and start to use your tug and this thing is not charged up, you're going to be out of luck. So leave it on the charger, smart chargers. It won't hurt the batteries. I don't know that there's anything else to show. Is there?
Go ahead and show us how it works in the grass.
Oh, you want to see how it works on the grass? Okay. All right, so this thing is just like a little tank. So I'm going to... So obviously you wouldn't do that with your plane, but it just shows what this thing can do. It's pretty amazing. It's really is like a little tank. It'll go over dirt, it'll go over grass, it'll go on ice, snow, just about anything. Is there any other things?
Challenging hangar doorways.
Yes, challenging hangar doors. We always get that question. So yeah, we're going to do a second part of this video, part 2, and we're going to actually show this thing working. We're going to be using it on a nose wheel. We're going to be using it out in grass on a nose wheel as well, and that one's going to have a fairing on it, so you'll see how it works with a fairing. Then we're going to do it on a tail wheel, and I think that's it, right? Those 3 different options. So well, we're going to see 4 different things. We're going to see a nose wheel with fairing, on grass, and then a tail wheel. So it's going to be pretty cool to see that. So,
one thing I would like to mention as well before we end the video is that I did forget one accessory, and we have a lot of people that live in the East Coast that buy our tugs, and we have the option for snow tracks here. So what that is Tracy has a little bit more insight on how.
Yeah, well, it's just studded tracks. So every 3rd track segment has stainless steel studs sticking out of it, and it gives you a lot more grip on ice. It's great for outside when you're going. A lot of people don't want to have them because they're going to scratch your hangar floor is the only problem. But if you don't care about your hangar floor, we get people that are they got a pretty rough hangar floor. Yeah. They don't care. They just want their tug to be get good traction. So.
And it'll still work in snow even without the snow tracks. We've seen
Yeah, pretty
things
incredible.
happen, yeah. And in ice, and you could use it in the rain. We just don't recommend that you submerge it in water, but we've seen that happen too on accident. So.
Okay, so that's a wrap for this. I think we've pretty much showed you everything about the tug. We're going to be, like I've said before, we're going to be doing one of these videos for every one of our tugs and giving you an in-depth detail of the whole tug and how it works and everything. Yeah. So anything else we've forgotten here?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Then,
don't miss part 2 though.
Yeah, definitely watch part 2. That's shows it actually in action. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on our next show.
Bye.
Bye.